top 5 archetypes that will be best with Tribrigade. Yeah, Tribrigade? Yeah, that's how we're pronouncing it. So guys, we're here to talk about this. There's going to be a lot of honorable mentions. There's going to be some interesting criteria for this, as we're going to be looking at, I guess, fastest to get things into the graveyard and not really be hunkered down by restrictions. But anyway, let's dig on into this, shall we? Number 1 on our list here is Melfi / Raccoons. So I was thinking about this, I was like, alright, so the new Tribrigade stuff wants to feed off of the graveyard to do a link summon. I was like, alright, well technically Obedience Schooled does lock you into a certain kind of restriction, but being able to maybe even possibly get an extender on out into the board and then do some really cheesy stuff from there, I was like, well, you know, like, this isn't too bad. Now, in this situation with this deck, I don't think that initially being able to execute this, especially in really the earlier game, is going to be your best means to do this. I do think that if you're using Tribrigade in this deck, it's going to be for your longer-esque grind games, which isn't going to be a good thing, but you will have plenty of woodland creatures in your graveyard to take advantage of based off of what you're dumping and other things like that. So, immediate results? No. Grind game potential for free monsters? Oh yeah. Melfi and, you know, / Raccoons / everything in the little woodland deer archetype. Honestly, it all synergizes together, and the possibility of a possible extender coming up later on with more cards revealed from the archetype is definitely possible, but outside of everything that we've generally seen so far, I put it at number 5. Alright, like I said, woodland creatures and friends definitely isn't going to be the worst approach, but it's definitely not going to be the 100% end-all be-all for this. So, number 2 on our list here, actually I gotta give it up for Harpies. So, Harpies do a couple of things. They, unfortunately, typically want to use their normal on Channeler. You guys know how good Channeler actually is. Ends up being your typical, alright, well I can discard and spam my entire field with Harpies. What is it? Worst case scenario, you can end on like Hysteric Party plus everything. You've also got the new generic Synchro coming on out, so, you know, instead of your Xyz materials being stuck underneath a monster, you could, you know, make the Harpy Synchro. Now, depending on how you're doing things, you might not be able to get access to the new cards. Now, this was the thing I was kind of talking about earlier, is yes, you can generically link on up to them, but the ones that banish from the graveyard, to like the pseudo extenders per se, that make these extra link summons possible, Harpies are one of those decks that definitely require their normal summon to do a lot of their combos. Now, once again, in the same category as Melfi and the Woodland Friends, past turn 1, oh yeah, you normal summon that, you're probably sticking the Link 4 on the field. And when that's one of the things, like with Tribrigade, it's like, Extenderville is looking very, very good. Alright, like, there's a lot of cool things that you can just pull out of nowhere, and your opponent's going to be like, well, that's a wrap, guys. I got nothing to follow up with it. So, especially if you could stick the party on the field, literally go party and then stick the big guy on the field on full resolution of combo. Also keep in mind the big guy is basically a generic searcher for anything in your deck. If it gets outed, it's just possibly for extender purposes. Might not be best in here, but definitely makes the list compared to the honorable mentions. Number 3 on our list here, and this would easily have been close to 1 if we had everything, and it's Lunalights. Hey, you know, all those scales and things that you're messing with there, all those revivability cards that you got going on there. Imagine in a perfect world where Lunalights were still at full, beautiful power. Alright? you would be able to climb link ladders so easily with this. And especially, no, just think about this. In a world where Lunalights are great again, you're not even going to use the stuff. Honestly, in Lunalights, as the deck is right now, this is just more extender fuel for you. But once again, like, you're not a deck that necessarily relies on its normal summon to start combo. Sometimes, a lot of the time, it definitely is helpful, but the problem that you're going to run into at that stage with the deck is you're still Lunalight, you still have a lot of stuff missing. If you're the fusion-based build, you could probably put the link on the field, but once again, to what adaptability or what means are these extenders that we're presenting to the Tribrigade actually going to be that useful? Definitely think there's potential for them in here, don't get me wrong. Especially, since you've already got in-house Beast Warrior synergy. Yes. Alright. Number 4 on our list, alright, is definitely Blackwings and Raid Raptors. Now, I put these two together because Raid Raptors do have their new line of support coming up here. They work with Phantom Knights. Now, if you're trying to splash this in with the Phantom Knight package, I don't think you're going to get the best results right out of the gate. But something like Blackwings, on the other hand, over here, Blackwings put up really big boards. And I do think with Tribrigades becoming a deck that, unfortunately, I don't see Steam the Cloak ever coming back, unfortunately. As much as people would like to see this, I think this archetype kind of put the nail in the coffin for that. But both of these decks can operate without their normal. They have plenty of special summon extenders. And there's plenty of cool things that you could do, depending on how you're opening and things like that, to get the best maximum use out of the extenders for these decks. Also, these decks love feeding into their graveyard 100% of the time. Like, it's literally free real estate for these decks. Alright? The best possible honorable mentions first. Alright, so number 1 on our honorable mention list here is actually Gladiator Beast. So, Glads don't put a lot of things in the graveyard. They just love to contact back out to the deck. And initially when I was thinking about this, I was like, Glads are very good for what they are, but this new archetype doesn't do anything to really feed on into what Glads are initially doing for their boards. You know what I mean? Number 2 was Ancient Warriors. I really thought about this. I was like, man, Ancient Warriors do a lot of stuff, alright? And there is potential there, don't get me wrong. I just think that with everything else that already currently exists, Ancient Warriors just aren't in the best place to be taking advantage of this. So, we'll see with that. We also had number 3 for honorable mentions here, which is Samorg. Honestly, me and Akano were talking about this morning. I was like, well, it can do stuff. Is it Value Town? It doesn't feel like it has synergy with the deck. You know what I mean? That's kind of like my biggest concern here is in the archetype itself, it can bring out Samorg and you can do combo. But at the stage that you're bringing out the extender, is it really worth it? I don't know. And then we had number 4, Ojama. Yeah, I don't even know what I need to say about this, but Ojama is really good at just going unga bunga, drop everything in graveyard, yubba yubba. Alright, the best possible archetype to play with this, I think, is Zodiac. Honestly, okay, so you go Megaclops, just off of, Ram plus, Barrage, is full good combo, right? And then as you're extending through, you make the Megaclops, you bring out your whatever extender that you want to do the link play, and you just make big link with Megaclops. You did that all on 2 cards, by the way. By modern Yu-Gi-Oh standards, it might not be the best, but who's outing Megaclops these days? Alright, there is value to beat it in the game, but at this stage, it's just Megaclops plus big guy, on the recurable end, plus back row, that's really good. Alright, don't be surprised if you end up seeing this being one of those cute little things that you see in the future. But alas, we'll see where this goes. So what do you think about these? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. Well, guys, I'm out. Peace. Thank you, patrons, for making the ride never truly end. Without you guys' support, well, I would probably be doing Truffle Shuffle videos for a living. Guys, please check out VanCole40 for all of your Cardfight Vanguard content brought to you by MCole40. And if you are looking to pick up singles, check out mcolegames.com for your trading card game needs. Thanks for watching, everybody.